Hello, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful week. It's going fast. I mean, the days are just going like that. And I've just had a great week. And I hope you have too. So, have you got your book? Are you even thinking, what in the world? Stranger Things? I've got to tell you this. I'm going to start before we start in our book. Um, See, God's just so amazing. He's so amazing. And he orchestrates. He really he weaves us together with people. Um so I'm in a Bible study, a Psalms Bible study with Community Bible Study is the organization that puts out the material every year. And how I even got to that study was because I met a friend, Nancy, at the movie theater when the girls and I were going to see Matt Walsh's Am I Racist? Coming up on 2 years. It'll be 2 years this September, August or September. And anyway, I met Nancy because we accidentally sat next to each other at the theater. And it was she was kind of irritated with me because I was sitting next to her. Her viewpoint was, there's hardly anyone else in the theater. Why did you pick seats right next to me? My thinking was, when I picked the seats, we were running late. I wasn't looking at the rest of the world. I was thinking of, where did I like to sit? Oh, I like an end seat. There's 3 seats there. Let's go there. So at any rate, believe it or not, before the movie even started, we exchanged information, and we've been friends since. And we clicked. She has spent a lot of her time studying Hebraically and the Jewish culture because Jesus was Jewish. And so I too have studied that way. And I was in a Bible study with that she leads online. Um, and I guess it started during the COVID era. And it meets every morning, Monday through Friday at 7:30 in the morning. 7 to 9 or 7:30 to 9, something like that. Well, uh, I needed to be in a study, and the Lord just gently was wooing me. Okay. So anyway, I was wanting to start a study, but it was like, I was sensing that the Holy Spirit was like, it's not right now. It's not the time for you to lead. You need rest. You need to rest. So I joined that Bible study. Well, then, as it turns out, midway through the study, my computer quit working. The For whatever reason, and we met on Zoom. So my microphone quit working, and then my video camera quit working. Well, that's kind of annoying when you're participating. You can't even talk. So, um, anyway, I finished the study, and then, that was it. And the issue with my computer came up after this Microsoft update. So then for whatever reason, my computer could not detect my camera or my microphone. So annoying, because that's exactly the kind of thing that my Bob would have had fixed for me in no time. So, wrapping this all up, tying it all into widowhood, you never forget that you are without your beloved, right? My Bob. So, okay. Then fast forward, my friend Nancy says, hey, there's another Bible study that I am in. This one's going to meet on Friday mornings, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And without going into a lot of detail at this point, I didn't really understand church hurt until I experienced the ripping out of my heart from the people that I loved dearly. And I'm just going to say that much about it at this point. So, when I went to that Bible study and walked into the church building that was housing it, I'm having an internal conversation with the Lord. Like, Lord, really? Really? I'm so irritated with church. I can't believe I really need more healing. Getting over that hurt. So anyway, I joined the study. It's been a great study. It's the first time in 50 years, I think, that all of the community Bible studies are studying the book of Psalms, which I love. And I felt very much like David at various points in my life. And so here we are. Here we are. In the study, I have met some wonderful, wonderful ladies. I really think that our little group in that David study is a God-ordained group of women. And I have enjoyed getting to know people. One particular lady also, like me, had studied all of Heiser's work. Dr. Michael Heiser, as you know, the author of what we're reading right now. And so I'm going to fast forward. And so, of course, we connected. She was a homeschool mom. She also studies Hebraically in the Jewish feasts that we are to also observe, and all the different things. And so, and she's quite a bit younger, homeschooling mom, just all the things. So then, a couple, I don't know, weeks ago now, I happen upon this podcast. And the guy leading it was like, it so resonated with me. So I start listening to more podcasts. I don't know if that's how you do it, but that's how I do it. If someone resonates, I'm like, okay, I'll give it a few more listens. So anyway, at any rate, his name is Dr. Joel Muddamalle. And then I later find out he was Dr. Heiser's final doctorate student. Well, no wonder I resonated with his teachings, because for a decade I had studied Heiser's work. And I knew I had seen him before too, but I couldn't place where. And I never knew his name for sure, or I never attempted to say his last name. But because the fact he was Indian, my sister-in-law, my brother's second wife, she was from India. Love Jasmine dearly. And so as Dr. Joel Muddamalle speaks, and he's like bringing up places like Hyderabad, and his family is, they're Christian. He spoke Telugu as a little boy. And I'm like, that connected me with Jasmine. So my ears perked up. So anyway, fast forward. I go into Bible study last week. I had just listened to a podcast of Dr. Muddamalle's on my way to Bible study. And I sent it to some friends, and I was like, love, love, love this guy. See what you think. Go into Bible study. I see my friend Jessie, and I said, have you ever heard of Joel Muddamalle? She's like, I know him. Not know him, but a friend of hers in her Bible study. They do know them and him, and he has spoken at their Bible studies a few times. And I was just like, what? And then she goes on to say, yeah, he just lives in such and such town. And I was like, really? And somehow it came up about Proverbs 31 Ministries. And I was like, oh, yeah. So that's where it was. I had seen him on Lisa Turker's podcast before. And so it was all making sense now. So anyway, I'm sharing my joy with you. It's an adventure. It's an adventure walking with Jesus. And so anyway, just a full circle moment. So we're going to continue on in our Stranger Things, and then we're going to go to What Does God Want, I think. Okay. Everyone is broken a little. This sort of brokenness is at the heart of Stranger Things. Each member of the party, really every major character in the show, has a battle to rage against loneliness, lack of acceptance, fear of being unwanted, or tragic personal loss that makes them who they are. When Will Byers goes missing, we're introduced to his family. His mom, Joyce, is a harried single mom who becomes absolutely frantic to find her son. Will's brother, Jonathan, is a loner who carries resentment towards his father, Lonnie, for abandoning them. Joyce and Jonathan carry the guilt of not being at home on the night that Will vanishes due to the burden of cobbling jobs together to make ends meet. Joyce's irrational refusal to accept another loss, even when the authorities recover a body, conveys a woman teetering between psychosis and unquenchable faith. We are eventually introduced to Dustin's broken home. He lives with his mom. His father is never mentioned, and the pathological detachment of Mike's father is basically every regard. I'm on page 15, by the way. The only family not torn apart by divorce and tragedy is Lucas's, but he is African American in a lily white small town. His own consciousness of otherness leaks through in both sad and comical ways. The jaded, alcoholic, womanizing chief of police, Jim Hopper, lost his only daughter, Sarah, to cancer in her early years. The tragedy haunts him through the show, but steals him in his pursuit of will and justice against the evil engulfing Hawkins. Emotional destitution and yearning for deep relationship are threads that run through Nancy Wheeler's guilt over the death of her friend, Barb, her vacillating feelings for Steve, and her developing bond with Jonathan. So, some people are broken a lot. So in your own journey, when you encounter people, we don't all start off at the same place in life. Like, many things come into play that create hardships and differences within all of our lives. And some are broken a lot, right? As wiseful and poignant as these backstories are, they pale next to that of the central character of Stranger Things, Eleven. Eleven is the show's archetypal, I'll get it, figure of adversity, neglect, and exploitation. Our first glimpse of her occurs a little over halfway through the first episode. No sooner does the creepy Dr. Brenner pronounce she can't have gone far after assessing the destructive aftermath of a mysterious lab catastrophe than the scene cuts to a barefoot girl in the woods, clothed only in a tattered lab gown, face smudged with dirt, her head shorn. Hungry, she sneaks into the back of Benny's Burgers, a Hawkins greasy spoon where fried food and local gossip dominate the menu, to forage for food. In a few minutes, she's caught in the act by Benny, who tries to help her and later pays the price for doing so at the hand of the seemingly pleasant woman from social services, who's actually a government assassin. The 11 we meet can barely communicate. We quickly see that, even in the company of friends, her vocabulary is limited and her social skills non existent. She has lived all her life in a cloistered clinical environment, cut off from ordinary human interaction and relationships. When Mike asks her what her name is, she can only identify herself by the numerical tattoo on her arm. Not only do we learn that she's been deprived of the most basic human psychological needs, companionship, trust, loyalty, and love, but she was punished for disobedience to her overlord, Papa, with further isolation. While searching for Will in the pouring rain, Lucas, Mike, and Dustin stumble upon 11 in the woods behind Hawkins National Laboratory, Mirkwood, which is adjacent to the Byers house. The boys are naturally stunned to find the girl, drenched and shivering, clad only in an oversized t-shirt. In ensuing episodes, we witness 11 encounter television, recliners, and Mike's toys for the first time. Her reactions range from wonder to bored disinterest. 11 gives every indication that she's utterly disoriented by anything we and the rest of the characters would consider normal. Given my own backstory, the show's plotline struck chords of memory. Though I got along with everyone I knew, I was a broken kid. Things weren't the way they were supposed to be. But what I hadn't known until I heard the gospel was that I was as lost as Will Byers. It isn't long before we learn that Will is trapped in another reality plane, the upside down. He's powerless to escape. His condition is irreversible. Without the intervention of a greater power and someone courageous enough to seek what was lost, he will die and be forever separated from those he loved and who loved him. Without Christ, that is our destiny. It was my destiny, writes Heiser. All right, we're going to pause there on 17, created to belong, and we'll pick up there tomorrow. I hope you have a great day. That's my gift for you today.